May I ask one follow-up question
Yeah,
on
sure,
this?
sure.
So my observation, not based on these two calls only, but my previous experience with clients and with people is that usually when it's such a hot mess where several things come together, relationship doesn't work, um, they're looking for a job or they're not happy in their job. So I would think those are the people who would need one-on-one work the most, but they are at the same time the people who can afford it the least. And I haven't quite figured out how to deal with that. That when things are very chaotic in a person's life, that's usually when they would need most help, but they also
Yeah,
have least money. What do you do with that?
yeah, yeah. So I think this is I think there's a general sense, especially from those of us who are compassionate, heart-centered people, that we want to help way more people than can afford the help. This is why we have to admit that, and we have to admit our boundaries are important, and their boundaries are obviously necessary and important, including how much they should be spending for support, right? Which then, to me, naturally leads to, well, do I have different levels of support that they can afford? Even though ideally I would love for them to get, ideally, let's talk about this. Ideally, I would go and live with each of you to help your business. Like I would just live with you and all day I'd be like, hey, wake up. All right, time to get going. How are you feeling today? Right? Like, I would go live with you. Like I've thought that would be my most ideal client. I would just live with them for like 5 years and just help them build a business. That's it. That's just my job. Just help them build a business. I don't think any of you can afford that. Sorry, I'm already married, right? Like George, you gotta do that with your wife. I can't even do that with my wife. I'm here trying to build my own business, right? I'm living with myself here, right? Trying to so that that's an extreme, but ideally I would be able to meet with each of you every day, like talk with you every day, right? And same idea, right? Like ideally you would talk with your with that person all the time and help them and support them, which means okay, boundaries. Both of us have to have correct boundaries, and then that means I need to have different tiers of offerings that respects those boundaries. So this is why the concentric circles business model that I talk
Mhm.
about come in to say, okay, your closest your VIP offer could be several $1,000s or more. And yes, someone should not pay for that unless they can reasonably pay for that. And then someone who can't pay for that goes to your next level. Maybe it's a lighter one-to-one offer. Maybe, Sina, you could see them once a month.
Mhm.
Maybe they can afford that, really. And maybe
Mhm.
besides once a month, you provide a forum for your private clients, if that's appropriate, to further discuss among themselves, right? Or maybe you pair them together, or maybe there are ways to get support that doesn't require your time and energy, and therefore costing you more and costing them more. They could be paired up with other clients. They could be a part of this group or forum. Maybe you even recommend a separate group that you don't run. There's another Facebook group that's wonderful for talking about this kind of stuff. Also, I hope you'll do that. And we meet once a month, So there's different levels, and then maybe there's a group program that you create, or maybe there's a course that you create, and their support there, and maybe you facilitate group calls among clients, or you pair clients together into pairs and trios. They work together. So yeah, this is where you get to create different levels. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I
Thanks.
hope that helps.
That's
Yeah.
very helpful. I do have different group offers and courses already, but
Yes.
I see that there's a missing link, and that was
Yes.
very helpful for
Yes.
figuring out what it is. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you.